At first, I wasn't gonna make this video. I'm working a completely different 1 hour long video about Warrior Cats. This was not meant to happen. But I saw the digital circus ending in theaters, and now that it's out on YouTube, I've come to realize I have many a thought about Jax. A lot of what I'm gonna say here has probably been said by others before, but I just need to get this off my chest. Yes, this has spoilers for the finale, so be mindful of that. That's your warning. If you don't want to get spoiled, please look away now. Speaking of spoilers, I will be referring to Jax with she/her pronouns throughout this entire video. I think Gooseworks herself said either she, her, or he, him are fine for Jax. But if me using solely she, her deeply upsets you because you see her transness as a headcanon, no matter what Gooseworks herself has said, then I don't know, the best I can do is give you a kiss in the mouth and hope you stop being transphobic. That's the best I can do. Jax is trans femme. That's just canon now. Anyway, moving on. Jax sucks. That's just a fact. She's a very controversial character for this very reason. More so because she became one of the main characters in the entire show. I can understand and empathize with all the people in the fandom who hated this decision. I know many people in real life who hate Jax's guts and everything she's done. I know that if I knew Jax in real life, I would probably punch her myself if given the chance. She's an awful person. This is something that has been established in the show by most of the cast and by Jax herself in the finale. So why was she the focus? Why are we shown so much of her and her horrible coping mechanisms, her abuse towards others, and spent so much time looking into her psyche and the horrible, horrible abuse she endured? Why spend all this time on her, knowing she's a horrible person? Because I fear this is the point. Now, I'm not Gooseworks. Obviously, we draw our own conclusions from what has been said and shown before, in both the series and in outside sources. The only way we can truly know what she 100% wanted to tell in the story is if she outright makes a huge ass post spoon-feeding it to us. But Jax being the central focus of the story in the long run, despite being as abusive as she is precisely to let us know to not let people like her rob you of your humanity. The digital circus starts out as this colorful prison. You're there against your will and you desperately want to go back to the real world. To your family, friends, your life, but you can't. You're trapped there with strangers who desperately want to leave too. You cannot leave. But if you isolate and spiral down on your own, you abstract, you lose your sense of self and effectively die in the narrative. So the best course of action is to stick together and try to do what's best with the situation presented to you. You take these strangers and turn them into new friends, new family, because that's the best you can do. And despite this awful situation you were put into, you don't want them to feel alienated. You don't want them to die. That's what the rest of the cast does. They're there for each other, they become friends. Obviously, it's not perfect. They all have their flaws and argue and are able to hurt each other. But in the long run, they're still there. Jax, because of her past, is terrified of this. She's terrified of letting herself be vulnerable again. So her best course of action is to push everyone away, bully them, and treat everything like it's one big joke, that it's not real, that she's just a cartoon character. This is the worst path an abuse victim can take. But the rest of the circus members are not Jax. They don't want to be. They could easily shun her away and leave her alone to abstract, which is a choice they're absolutely entitled to. But instead, they still push to include her and not let her spiral. Pomni, out of all of them, is the one who tried this the most. She said it herself. She doesn't want anyone to feel like they're nothing, no matter what they've done. But Jax doesn't listen. She never listens until it's too late and she's already far too gone. All of those chances she got, she pushed away out of her fear of letting people in again, of being hurt. It's way too late for her and it's a choice she made herself. And even then, the circus members grieve for her when she abstracted and still want to make this abstracted version of herself be at peace. Because they're not her. And this is not to say that if you will have left Jax to rot and abstract makes you a lesser person. Relationships with abusers are very complex. I know many people who will throw the biggest party ever if they receive news that something bad happened to their abusers. And that is completely justified and valid as well. I've had many Jaxes throughout my life, and the damage they've done is something that will always follow me. And I wonder if I were in the same situation, trapped in a circus with no way out, where isolating and spiraling on my own will kill me. Will I act like Pomni or will I act like someone else, happy that they died? Relationships with abusers are extremely complex. Were I in the situation, I'm not sure how I will act, but I do know that I wouldn't want to treat them the same way they treated me, because I don't want to become that. Gangle crying shows this as well, and it's one of my favorite parts in the finale. Gangle was the one who suffered the most abuse and ridicule from Jax. She didn't deserve it, any of it. Out of everyone in the circus, she was the most entitled to let Jax rot alone. The most entitled to celebrate that Jax was gone. Gangle struggles to crave for Jax at first. She can. She put her through so much pain. But in the end, she weeps for her. Because despite everything Jax did to her, every little thing, Gangle is not Jax. Gangle doesn't hide her emotions behind a class clown act. She's human. She's true to herself. And the truth is that death in the circus is terrifying and nobody should go through that. I've seen a lot of people say that Jax is bad trans representation because she's an abuser, and making an abuser a trans woman will reflect badly upon the community. I disagree with this. Good trans rep, bad trans rep, trans folks will think poorly of us no matter what. I think it's better to tell a story that actually resonates with the trans experience and what forcing yourself into the closet with no support system can do to you, than try to make every single trans character a good person to try and appeal to the people who don't understand us and don't want to understand us. Again, I don't know Gooseworks personally, and I probably never will, so I can't really speak about her character. But I think people are also taking her saying Jax is her self-insert at very face value. Self-inserts are not literally you. They can be, of course, but most of the time, and what I believe Jax is, if anything Gooseworks has said regarding her relationship with the character is anything to go by, is that their characters inspired by deeply personal stuff that has happened to you, and explore how would you react and navigate those situations if you were someone else. I have many self-inserts that end up becoming horrible people. And that's not because I'm literally them or that I want to become them. It's because I'm exploring what would have happened if I let myself wallow in the pit of misery when what has happened to me happened, instead of looking for a way out and look for support. This is what Jax is. The Digital Circus crew has said this multiple times. Jax is a cautionary tale. I have my thoughts on the Digital Circus finale. Overall, I really enjoyed it and had a good time. I'm an animator and a storyteller, so all of this was just very fun for me personally. I do agree it could have done with some more episodes and flesh out some other storylines, so we could get a more complete picture. Particularly with Kane and his brother personally, but overall I love this show and I can't wait to see what else Goose has in store. That is, if she wants to do something like this again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll work on some battle cats and personal art again now. Okay, goodbye. That's all I wanted to say.